All right, we are live. I am Sherry with Odyssey Pets in Dallas, Texas. We do grooming, boarding, daycare, and aquarium service, and we carry all natural holistic supplies for pets. We only care about, we are really passionate about healthy diets and all things healthy for pets. So this month is Freeze-Dried Frenzy Month, and I wanted to highlight why Freeze-Dried is so awesome. If you don't know what Freeze-Dried is, we will get into that. We're running a great promotion on a lot of your favorite brands, including Primal, and that's what we're doing today. We're going to talk to Diane with Primal Pet Foods, and if y'all have any questions, you can always drop it in the comments. So I see Rich is watching. Rich, you're the only one watching right now. He's with Open Farm. He's with Open Farm. So yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, let's get into it because people will watch this in replay. So, Diane, how long have you been in the pet industry?
More than 18 years.
Okay.
Yeah, long time. Various backgrounds.
On the retail side or the wholesale side?
The wholesale side.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And I've been with Primal 8 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great company.
So Primal, it's pretty popular. Like it's in a lot of different places. I would consider them an industry leader when it comes to raw food and freeze-dried food for pets. What sets Primal apart?
I believe there's a lot of things that set us apart. One, we're still independently owned and operated, which a lot of consumers really like. The fact that Matt Koss still owns the business with his family. We're also, all of our meats are naturally fed. We don't use any synthetics in any of our foods, which is a biggie, because I think that consumers really look for something that's easily digestible and not having the synthetic vitamins. And even when consumers are looking for their own vitamins, they're looking for something natural. So when you have something that's a whole food diet, it's more bioavailable to the pet. So I think those are some of the big things that sets us apart. We get all of our meats from the U.S. except for 4. And we test every batch in third-party testing. So I think that if we had to really look at Primal Pet Foods being independently owned and operated, and also no synthetic vitamins, and being a whole food diet that's bioavailable.
I'm a big fan of the no synthetic vitamins, and that's very difficult to find in the pet industry. I figure it's hard with like all the AFCO certifications. That's why a lot of companies, correct me if I'm wrong, they'll just throw a vitamin pack in there just to cover their bases.
That's very true. And Matt Koss is the owner of our company, was adamant. He did not want to do that because he really wanted to mimic the way a pet would eat in the wild. And he thought, well, if your pet was in the wild, would they eat another animal that had synthetics? So we really approach it from a whole food perspective. And he's been very adamant over the years to just do organic produce to make up for our vitamin packs.
That's beautiful. I love it. I want to say hi to Bob. Bob's watching. And Amy Phillips says, we use Primal every day and her dogs love it. So that's awesome.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if you want to give more background of Primal, that's cool. And I would love to know about the freeze drying process too.
Sure. So let me just start off. I kind of mentioned Matt Koss, the owner of our company. He's the most genuine, down-to-earth person ever. He has a big heart. And way before 2001, when he started Primal, the main reason why he created Primal Pet Foods, his dog Luna had kidney issues. And he really didn't know how to help his pet. So at that time, we were based in San Francisco. Well, before, he created Primal. He lives in San Francisco, and so he seeked out an alternative veterinarian way before 2001, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And he took his Luna to the vet, and the vet said, just feed him a raw diet, he'll do great. And so Matt says, okay. And sure enough, Luna thrived on a raw diet. Now you have to understand Matt, because Matt is actually a culinary chef for people. So he was a private
Cool.
chef for a family in San Francisco. And so he knew a thing or two about creating a good balanced diet. And so it was kind of easy for him working with the alternative veterinarian. And then he also worked with the Chinese herbalist to create the diet. And so here we are in 2020, and the products are thriving and helping pets throughout, the US and some places in other countries. And it's all thanks to Matt Koss being who he is and so passionate about pets. And that's why we really appreciate Matt Koss as our owner, and really taking, the health of other pets under his wing. And we have to thank him for that. So our products are fresh species appropriate nutrition for canines and felines. And I think what you want to understand is for canines and felines is that those are two very different formulas. We don't take just one formula and make it like for both canine and feline. Matt also knew that a cat is different than a dog. And so you'll see that our canine formulas are higher in protein than, our canine formulas are moderate protein, and our feline protein, our formulas are much higher in protein. And we do add the extra taurine. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but taurine is naturally occurring in meat. So is there a reason to add natural taurine? Not necessarily, other than Matt wants to err on the cautious side so that he knows if cats don't have enough taurine, what the downside is. So our taurine is very natural, and it comes from ox bile from New Zealand. One of the things that you'll find out, and Sherry knows this, if you ever have a question about Primal, you just ask her. She reaches out to me, and Primal is an open book. We like to let consumers know and give them an answer to their question. That's why we have a really great customer service team, because that's essential. Especially if you got a pet, let's say with heart failure, you want to know what's in it. So we do complete guaranteed analysis on our website. So we try to be all encompassing. So you know that when you feed Primal pet foods, you know what's in it, you know what you're getting, and you know your pets are going to get really good quality ingredients. So we based it off the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw diet. And as I said earlier, the nutrition comes from whole food supplements, no synthetics. And having that organic produce to make up for our synthetic vitamins, people love that. And what's so great, I always encourage my retailers, if you have somebody new that's looking for a raw diet and you want to talk to them about Primal, flip over the bag. They're going to be able to read everything in there and pronounce every word. And in fact, what we have in our bag is probably what you eat on a daily basis. And it's probably a lot of that comes from the same people sourcing. So you can be assured that the quality is definitely very, very good.
I
So,
do love that you can read the ingredients. I hate it when I get a bag of food, even for myself, and like I don't know how to pronounce some ingredient in there. If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it. And neither should your dog.
Yeah, I often hear from the staff at a retail store, oh, your product's so easy to sell. I flip over the bag, people can read everything that's in it. And that makes it so easy, because if you're a human or you're out a human searching for something for your pet, you got your cell phone, you've got your iPad, you're always looking to see, okay, what is that word? And if you can't find it, you can't pronounce it, a lot of times people are going to go, oh, I don't think so. I'm going to move on to something I can truly understand. Yeah. Okay, so our food is meat, organs, produce, and natural minerals. Now, what do I mean by natural minerals? I mean, we get our minerals from the clays of Salt Lake in Utah. So when you look at the back of our bag and you look at minerals, you know that there's nothing in there that's a synthetic mineral. Everything is going to be natural. We get that here again from the Salt Lakes in Utah. We also add organic coconut oil and organic apple cider vinegar. So if anybody ever wants to know the reason why we put all these ingredients in each one of these different formulas, visit our website. We have everything on there, why this is in there, why that's in there. And I think that it's really great because consumers want to know, why did you put organic coconut oil in there? Why did you put our, organic apple cider vinegar? We tell you, because we feel that a consumer really wants to know and know the benefits when they're feeding that food to their pet and how it's going to help them long term. And that's extremely important. So all our meats are ethically raised and human edible and humanely sourced. And we're very proud of that. As I said earlier, we get some of our proteins from New Zealand, which I don't know if anybody really knows a lot about New Zealand, but they're very strict on their standards of raising animals and treating the animals. And we get some of our fowl, like our duck comes from our duck comes from, I'm sorry, our rabbit comes from France, and our quail comes from Spain, and then everything else comes from the U.S. And we know all of our farmers. Matt is very much of a stickler. Let's say, for instance, we're out of stock on something. We're out of stock because that particular farmer couldn't supply us with our raw materials, and we're not going to go through a third party. We want to make sure that we stick with our tried and true suppliers because we know them, we trust them, and we know how they treat our animals as well. So Primal is made with fresh, antibiotic, and steroid-free whole muscle meat, organ meat, and meaty bones with no added hormones. And I think that's very important too. We like you, when you eat your food, we don't want any of that in our food. We don't want steroids. Why do you think so many people are looking for natural meats and they shop at like Whole Foods or Vitamin Cottage? They want something that's natural because they've learned over the years, if you eat a good, healthy diet, then your body's going to function much better. And it's the same with your pet. So you want to feed your pet. In some cases, as Sherry knows, people feed their pets much better than themselves. So, I told you where all of our meats are sourced, and we make all of our food in small batches, and we own our own manufacturing facilities. So we have complete control over everything that we do in those facilities.
Where is that facility?
It's in Fairfield, California, just north of Sonoma. And
nice.
Yeah, it's nice to go visit. It's a beautiful area.
I know. I was like, could I come see?
Yes, you can.
I'll hit up Sonoma too.
We were based in San Francisco, but we outgrew that, and so Matt went way up north to Fairfield, and that's why we have our 3 manufacturing facilities now, and we just keep growing and growing, and it's kind of exciting because it's nice to see Matt's, all of his hard work really come to fruition and see us keep growing and growing. And like I said, if you meet Matt on a one-to-one basis, he's just so passionate when he talks about his food. And it's great. It's really great to see that. So I often get asked, what do you do with to help with the bacteria in your food? Red meats are not so much of a problem as any of the fowls. So we do a process called HPP, and that's high pressurized processing. And so basically what that does, it ruptures the bad bacteria in any of the winged products. And that makes it safe primarily for human beings. Does it make a difference to pets? And Sherry can add to this. In reality, if you think about it, if your pet was in the wild, or even when you take your pet for a walk, sometimes they pick up something dead and they eat it, or, they eat a lot of different things. And most of the time they do not get ill because they have a very, very strong acid in their stomach, and they're able to break down.
Like a 1.0 pH or something, yeah.
Yes. And so they are able to break down a lot of bacteria. Because they begin their digestion in their stomach, whereas we begin in our mouth. So that's why when we eat like raw chicken, we could get very sick or die. So with pets, they're so different than human beings that we actually do that HPP process, yes, to make it safe. So when you handle in your home, you have children or elderly people. So it's safe all around for anybody in your home. So that's what we do. We do third-party testing on all of our batches. And we also test every batch as well. So what is freeze drying? So freeze drying, if you ever go to a bakery, which I know a lot of people like doing that, when you go to a bakery and you see these trays and you see the oven and they place the croissants or the cookies or everything on that and they slide it into the oven, that's pretty much what it looks like when you visualize a freeze drying machine. So the nuggets, this is our nugget, okay? This is our freeze dried nugget. It can break apart very easily. So when they put this on the tray, obviously it's in the raw state. So it's got a lot of moisture in it. So what we do is it goes into the freeze drying machine, and then the inside temperature is minus 40 degrees. So that's extremely cold. So what happens when it's minus 40 degrees and you've got the product in there, there's a huge ice block that forms inside that machine. And so after it's gone to the process, now this does, after it's gone through the process, in order to get the food out of there, we have to break that ice block. And so at the very last second of the freeze drying process in the chamber, the drying process, there's a little bit of heat that's put on there. So it breaks apart the ice in the block and in the chamber so we can pull out those trays. But that little bit of heat does not affect any of the product whatsoever because the internal core temperature is so cold at minus 40 degrees. So you can Google freeze drying process and it will show pictures and show you what it looks like a machine looks like. And we have a lot of those machines at our factory, and they're so cool to look at. And whenever you see them, you'll visualize cookies, croissants, but it's freeze dried that's going in on those trays. And it's kind of cool when they pull it out. There you have, voila, you've got this little product here. So that's the freeze drying process in a nutshell. So what is a freeze dried product? Well, I have a bag here, and I wanted to show you. This is Primal's freeze dried bag, and Sherry has them there as well. So one thing I wanted you to know, when you look at these bags, there's some things I want you to know about it. These bags do not have any type of window. And they have a special foil on the inside of every bag. And the reason why we do that is freeze-dried has an 18-month shelf life. But if freeze-dried is exposed to light, like lights in the store, sunlight, it can denature what's in that bag. So that's why Primal takes extra precautionary, and they put the foil inside the bag and have no windows. So
that's good to know.
When you buy that bag, that product in there is very stable and pure. And I want everybody to know that because I think that's important, because I get asked sometimes, why can't I do your product? And that's the main reason why. So as I said, this is the product, and this is what the frozen version looks like, and then it comes out with all the moisture out of it. It makes it shelf stable. So the freeze dried is you can use freeze dried many different ways. A lot of people use it as a treat, and it's a great treat because you know why it's a great treat. You know exactly what's in it. There's no synthetic vitamins. It's all natural. Everything in there you can pronounce. So what a great treat you can give to your pet. And most of these are easy to break apart. Now I will tell you with the HPP process, the fowl products are going to be much easier to break apart. The red meats may be, we don't do HPP on that, and those may be a little bit more difficult. However, that all depends on the animal, because sometimes you'll get beef and it's very hard, and sometimes you get it's very soft.
So I will say, not just with your brand, but it, like all the freeze-dried brands, it's always like if there's a freeze-dried fish product, it's usually crumbly, and then the beef is usually harder and more compact. So yeah, there is a different texture to them, but you're still able to break them up. You can break them into a powder even. But yeah, I'm sure you're about to get to them being choppers and mixers and all that too.
Absolutely. And because we removed one thing I really want to hit home, because we removed the moisture, and I know Sherry talks about this often in her store, is that the whole purpose of a raw diet is obviously being biologically appropriate for your pet, but the moisture content. Pets are 65% moisture. And if you decide to feed this, which is a complete and balanced diet, the one thing you must remember is to rehydrate. because if you're feeding a kibble diet, that's only 6 to 10% moisture. Your pet could be drinking a ton of water, but you don't know how much they're actually obtaining. So if you're going to feed this as complete and balanced, you definitely want to rehydrate. And I suggest they filter water. Primal has a whole different variety of ways to add moisture to these. Sherry carries them all. We have our whole
Goat's
food
milk.
supplement. Yeah, our goat milk. And by the way, goat milk is 79% moisture and 55% taurine. So for anybody looking for more taurine, that's a fantastic product.
Wow. I did not
Yeah.
realize there was that much taurine in there.
Yep, yeah. And then broth, we offer 4 different varieties, and that's 98% moisture. And then Sherry also carries our new elixirs, which have a lot of moisture. So that is why it's so important when you feed this, you do add moisture, but as a treat, it's okay. You just don't want to put it in a bowl and just leave it for your pets to eat. And as I said, it's 65% moisture. So that's very, very important. So let's recap. I think the biggest thing to take away from here is that Primal is a natural food. We do not add synthetics. We offer the freeze-dried, which is so easy for people that travel, backpacking, boating, hiking, people that feed their pets a raw diet or true raw diet, and they're boarding their pets. And maybe the facility doesn't want to handle any type of raw. This is great. And how about all those people out there who want to feed raw, but they just don't want to mess with going to the freezer? This is perfect.
Right. It's raw with convenience.
Yes, yes. But you also have to understand it's going to be pricier because of that extra process. So it's really made for pets about 35 pounds and under. However, I do know a lot of people love it so much they feed it to their 55-pound dogs because they love the convenience.
Well, even if you're just using it as a topper on your kibble, if you're using a kibble, it's still adding. It's like a protein boost. You're adding a lot of nutrition to that bowl. So
right. And the thing to remember, you're going to add, as Sherry said, extra nutrition, extra protein, amino acids, and enzymes. And that's all very, very important to add on top of that kibble to make it even better for your pet. And you know, obviously, if you're going to add this as a topper and you're going to add 2 or 3 nuggets, you need to look at the back of the bag on the feeding guideline. We have a feeding guideline on the back of the bag, and then we have a feeding calculator on our website. So when you add these as toppers, let's say you're adding 3 extra, don't forget you got to back off on your kibble because now you're adding extra calories. But it's worth it because you're getting a lot of great benefits from the from all the freeze-dried. So just your dogs are going to love it, and your cats. Cats love freeze-dried. A lot of people who have trouble transitioning their cats over to raw, this is a fantastic way to do it because cats are so imprint eater and texture oriented. They love the smell of this, and it makes it so easy to do that transition.
My cat loves freeze-dried too.
Cool.
Like I only do freeze-dried treats for my dogs, so I can just throw it to my cat. I don't have to have separate treats. So we do have a question. If I think is it Tanya or Tanja? I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. She asked, "What is the difference between Primal and Vital Essentials?" I'm guessing she feeds the Vital Essentials.
You know what? I really can't answer the Vital Essentials. I'll let Sherry do that. So that may be a question for her.
Yes. So the biggest difference, Vital Essentials is one of the only companies that doesn't add any veg to the diet. So it's just the meat, organs, and bone all ground up. They don't add any vitamins either. So that's a similarity, but yeah, no veg. And they don't HPP anything. So they're like, there's 2 different schools of thought on the raw feeding. One of them is they do need the veg. The other one is they don't. So Vital Essentials fills that category of people who don't want to do the veg, but Primal doesn't have much in there. It's only like 10-15% vegetables, right?
Correct. And it depends on the formula because every formula is going to be different because Matt balanced out like the fat content, the moisture content with the amount of produce in it to make it completely balanced.
So what I like to do is I mean, my dogs have tried every single raw food that I've had in this store, and freeze dried too. I like variety, so I've tried several different brands, and they have their favorites, but I do encourage experimenting. You don't want to feed the same thing day in and day out. I at least encourage you to change proteins. So yeah, but Primal Freeze Dried this month is on sale here at Odyssey. It's $2 off the small bags and $4 off the big bags. So if you haven't tried freeze dried, now's the time to pick up a bag for sure. Or if you are a fan, come in and save some money. Did you have? If anybody else has any questions, you can put it in the comments.
There's one thing I want to add is that I think Primal is the only raw food company that bases their products off of Chinese energetics. And I think that's important to mention, mainly because on the back of our bag,
the hot meats and the cold meats.
What?
Is it the hot meats and the cold meats thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you do a quick rundown on that? Because it is confusing for some people.
Yeah, I know you have a really great piece in your store that you put together. So I want you to jump in.
Yeah.
But what Matt Cost, the reason why he worked with a Chinese herbalist, he knew that it was very important to have this information for our products. Let's say, and it is very confusing. I've done a lot of searching on more explanation on Chinese energetics. I even have a veterinarian that's all he practices is Chinese herbs. And I asked him one day, I said, hey, can you really, he was working on my pet, and I said, can you dive into Chinese energetics? He goes, you got a long time, because he said it's very complicated.
That should be for a whole nother Facebook Live. That's what we should do.
I should introduce you to him so you can do a segment on it. He's very good at it. But anyway, I wanted to show you. So on the back of our bags, let me show you. Let me flip this around. You see this end? That means that this is a neutral protein. The easiest way to explain this, let's say you got a cold in the wintertime and you're feeling really, that's a hot protein. So you're feeling really sick and you're clogged up and you really want to feel better. What is something that you want to make your body feel much better and heat up? Chicken noodle soup, because chicken is a hot protein. So it works with the yin and yang in your body and works with your spleen. So it's going to heat your body from the inside out. And it works the same way with people and pets. So a great way and a great tool that Sherry has, let's say you walk into the store and your pet has severe allergies and everything's been done to help this pet. And they've done some research and decided that, hey, maybe what I want to do is switch their food. And they've read about Chinese energetics. Sherry can actually introduce one of the Primal products. And what she'd want to do if it was a pet with allergies is to introduce a cooling protein. And the reason why you want it to be cooling is because you want to bring down the body temperature, because all of that is happening from the inside. So duck is a great cooling protein, rabbit's a great cooling protein, and you can even use a neutral protein like beef. And honestly, the retailers that follow that rule, they see so many great results with pets, and consumers that see the results, they said, I'm never going to switch, because now I get it. Now it's so great that I can understand that I have all these different proteins. I want to keep with cooling and neutral proteins, and my pet is thriving off of that. Because honestly, a lot of times your pet has the allergies because of the food that you're feeding and maybe some of the ingredients. And that's where Sherry can come in. She probably has a variety of things in her store beside the raw diets, which will be beneficial, and these products that could be very helpful. And nobody knows how long it takes to transition. It could be, you can see a difference in a week. It might take a month. Just depends on how long your pet's been like that. So it's something you can work one-on-one with Sherry.
Yeah, we are passionate about nutrition. So yeah, you can always ask us questions. And I am not an expert on the hot and cold proteins, but I do have a great flyer that we put together, and I can help you that way. But oh, Tanya said thank you. She that was really helpful. So
great.
Awesome. Well, if you didn't have anything else to add, I would like to have you tell people if they have more questions later, how can they find out some answers about Primal?
Easily. We have a fantastic customer service line. You can email Primal Pet Foods. You can also join Primal Pet Foods blog and go to Primal Pet Foods at the bottom of the page. You can join and get coupons from Primal. But our customer service is fantastic to help you out. We have blogs that will answer a lot of your questions too. If you have, in fact, there's a segment on there about hot and cold proteins, about Chinese energetics. But I encourage you to go to our website. We give you so much information. And then it's www.primalpetfoods.com. And we're very passionate about helping consumers and their pets. So we're always there for you. If there's a question you have for me and you want to reach out to Sherry, I'm happy to help out as well, because it's very important that your pets get on the right path if they're not, and have a healthy, long life. And that's our goal, is to live a long time. And I think for me, feeding a pet a biologically appropriate diet that is a raw diet, I've seen it with mine. I have pugs that have lived to be 17 to 18 years old. And my vet is always amazed, and he goes, it's because you feed a raw diet. Even though he doesn't talk about raw diets, he knows that's the reason why. And I think that's very important to understand. Even if you just put a little bit of raw in with the kibble, you're doing justice.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Any improvement on nutrition is a step in the right direction. So
correct.
Awesome. And you guys are active on social media too, quite a bit. Instagram, Facebook, all that.
Definitely. Anytime you go there, we post all the time about all of our products. And they're really cool posts, like we just did one, I believe, on our elixirs. But yes, you'll always see something from Primal Pet Foods. We also have Primal ambassadors. These are people that have been selected that live all over the world, and they feed their pets Primal, and they do adventures, and they post on social media as well. And those are kind of fun to follow.
Nice. Y'all are really active online. That's pretty cool.
We are.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if nobody had any questions, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say, please support your local small businesses. Now more than ever is when they need you. And like I said, the freeze-dried Primal is on sale to the end of the month here at Odyssey Pets, and we are in Dallas, Texas. So if you're local to us, kind of stop by and see us. We're open 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Every day except Sunday, and we're here 12 to 6 on Sunday.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
You guys have been awesome. Thank you for watching. You can always contact Odyssey through our Facebook page, info@odysseypets.com. We are on Instagram as well. And there's also a button on our website. You can message me through there too. But yeah, I really want to say thank you for everyone that watched, and thank you for watching if you're going to watch this in replay. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us, either Primal directly or to me through Odyssey Pets. But yeah, thank you. And thank you, Diane, for doing this.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it. Anytime. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe.
Yes, stay safe. And thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.